Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how I drew these Matilda figures, okay, in the style of Quentin Blake. So why don't you get your stuff together, why don't you join me and have a go at drawing these yourselves. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a front-on image of, in this case I'm doing a girl and this is Matilda. So I'm going to start with a nice round head, okay, and then under that head I'm just going to do a little triangle, that's her neck, alright, and then on that I'm going to draw a square, okay, quite small, a nice little square, and that's the top of her body, and then I'm just going to bring that down and to make her dress. So that's a trapezium, and so we've got a square on top of a trapezium, on top of a little triangle, on top of a circle, okay. And often when I'm drawing, I often look at the shapes within a drawing. I'm not necessarily trying to draw Matilda here, I'm looking at the shapes that make up Matilda. I'm going to bring some arms out here, so there's some rectangles coming out of here. So she's got her arms in the air, and then from here we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. So that's a bit of a mess, but I can sort that out when we get there. In fact, we're going to come slightly different with this hand. I'm going to bring that up and bring the thumb over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then bring that round. Now, so the next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some legs, which is just going to be almost like sticks, so that one leg's like that, and then crossing over behind that is another leg, and then she's going to have her feet, one foot coming off like this, as though she's almost like doing some ballet, and then we're going to have one foot behind that one, so that's the other foot. Okay, and then so this one, and we'll just think about, she's got some socks on there, got feet. Okay, and so that's the general idea for Matilda. Now her head's quite big because she's a small girl, and then I'm going to think about the hair, so I'm just going to come down here and then round here. I'm just going to give the shape of where I want the hair to be, but I'm not going to actually, when I come with the pen, I'm not actually going to draw on that line. That's just where I'm going to keep my hair within. And then for this one I'm just going to do some dot eyes, do a arrow nose, and a nice big smile. Okay, so that's the basis of my Matilda. Now it's all quite straight and it's all quite nice, but when I come in with the pen now, that's when you're going to see it develop and look a little bit more like Quentin Blake, because it doesn't look like Quentin Blake at the moment because I've just been too precise and too nice with my lines. Now here's the problem I've got, I've lost my pen, so I'm going to pause it and have a look. Okay, I'm back, I found it. It was in the last place I left it, which is obvious. Now, just to talk about pens for a moment. So there's a choice you can use with pens. Okay, so in school we have the drawing pens like this one, okay, which are a fibre tip pen, and they're quite good, but they're quite uniform. So when you draw a line with a fibre tip pen, like so for example here, you'll notice that it's just one type of length, one sort of width. Now I sometimes use a fountain pen, and that's been filled up with drawing ink, so it's permanent, and I use a fountain pen like this one for this sort of thing. Or sometimes I will use, if I want to get it really like Quentin Blake, I will use a dip pen, but this one's a lot more messy, so I'm going to use my fountain pen here to do the lines on Matilda. And I'm going to start at the top and just come into the top. Remember, I'm not going to do the top of the head here like in the last video I showed you. I'm only going to do the part of her face, so from her cheek here round to the side of her head like so. Okay, and I've made a bit of a mistake here. I've made her head look a little bit too round, but never mind. So, and then I'm just going to, because of that, I'm just going to change the shape of her mouth a little bit. I'm going to bring that round, and then I'm just going to do a really quick arrow, a dot, and a dot. So that's my Matilda so far. And then I'm going to come in and do her arms. And I'm just going to do the sleeves of her dress, coming straight along, sleeve here, okay, like so. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to do the thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4, and her fingers. And then I'm going to do her thumb, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's her fingers. Okay, and then I'm just going to put in this triangle here. Okay, and then I'm going to come down the side, so I'm not going to draw this square, I'm just going to draw the top of, so that's her dress. And I'm going to bring a line across there and some just to show some marks to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Just a squiggle along the top of the dress there, straight down, and then these legs are going to come 1, 2, and like so. Doesn't matter, I've gone over there a little bit, and then I'm just going to bring this shoe in at the back, and then this shoe at the front. Okay. Now I'm going to come here now, and last of all, I'm going to do the rest of this hair, because what I want to do is just put in some random lines like so. Okay. Sometimes just scribbles in different directions, and then I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. And so what I'll do with that afterwards is I'll rub out the lines. Okay. Now, moving on to the next one. So this time we're going to draw Matilda sitting reading a book. Okay. So this time we're going to look at the profile. We're going to look at the side of the face. So again, around here, I'm just going to draw a circle for her head. And then this time I'm going to do what I call a ski jump nose. So it goes down like a ski jump. Okay. And then it comes back round into the face like so. And then from that lip, you're going to come round and you're going to draw the happy face, and then go back a tiny bit. You can see where that little tiny gap. I'm just going to come there, and that's going to join the neck. All right. So that's the top. That's the face of Matilda. The nose is probably a little bit big, and also she's looking out, but that doesn't matter. I really wanted her to be looking down at the book, but I'm not going to worry too much. Draw the dot of the hair, and then again I'm just going to do a scribble along the top, and then down the side I'm just going to do, that's where her long hair is. Notice I'm not drawing one long line for her hair, I'm just doing some scribbles coming down for her hair. And then we're going to do a triangular neck, and then the top, again this is not quite a square this time, but it's the same sort of thing. I'm just going to draw, this is a bit of a rectangular trapezium. And then from the side here, I'm just going to draw one arm coming out, and then that's her sleeve, and then her hand is going to be under there. Just a bit of a mess. Actually, I'm just going to rub that out because that's really not very good. So I'm just going to come and go up to the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's that. And then I'm just going to get so with this one, I'm just like Charlie Bucket's golden ticket. I'm just going to draw a rectangle there, draw some pages of her book. Didn't want that there. So maybe 1, 2, 3, and then draw another rectangle, but a slightly different angle, so it's going off there. And that's the spine of the book, and so it looks like she's reading the book. And then from here, I'm just going to draw some fingers. Okay, from there. Now, what's going to do now is I'm going to draw this skirt because she's going to be sitting maybe on a nice big book. So I'm just going to draw the skirt here. Coming at an angle, and then these legs, I'm going to 1 stick, 2 sticks, she's crossing her legs, and then we're going to have, so she's sitting down, there's one foot, and there's the other foot, okay, and then I'm just going to, don't want this quite rounded, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw in this book, which is just like so, so that's the end, that's the top, that's then some pages. And then this is going to go off at an angle here. And I'm going to draw the pages going this way. And so she's just sitting on a big stack of books. Okay. I'm just draw some random lines. And again, I'm not trying to make it look like books necessarily. I'm just trying to look like she's sitting on something. Okay, so that's the basics for that Matilda. Now, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to come in, and this time I'm going to do the penning, but I've noticed I've done the nose is a little bit big, so I'm just going to tidy that up a bit and go a bit smaller. I'm going to come in with the mouth that's a bit higher. I'm going to come in there, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to bring this body up a bit because that's where I've made a mistake. Now you can see there I've really not kept to the lines, but once I get rid of those it'll be fine. Draw her eye, and then from here I'm just going to do some squiggles from the front of her hair, and then down to the back she's just going to come like so. Different directions, okay, just squiggles. And then I'm just going to get her arm in here, back of her top, and then that's her other arm on the other side. And then I'm just going to, that's her book, that's the spine, and that looks like the book, and there's some hand there, doesn't have to look like one. And then on the here I'm just going to come and round, I'm just going to make a rounded bit here, that's the top of her skirt, put a squiggle in there, one leg, and her shoe, and then the other leg coming down behind it. Okay, so that's her leg, and then with this book I'm just going to just scribbling really. You can tell, you know, I'm not trying to make it look pretty at all. And that's the pile of books she's sitting on. And, you know, even if I just do a little squiggle like that, it just gives it a little bit of a, you know, makes it look more like Quentin Blake. So that's that. I've just missed out the hands here, so I just better come in and do the hands that she's reading with. So that's Matilda from the side. I'm going to do one more, which is a girl maybe running or standing from the side. Okay, so just one more here. So what I'm going to do here, now unfortunately I've got a bit of yellow paint from Charlie Bucket over here when I closed it too early and the paint hadn't dried, so I won't worry about that too much. But this time again, maybe I'll get her facing this direction this time. Okay, so again with the girl we're going to have a ski jump nose, make it quite small, and I'm going to bring that, and then as it comes into here, this time I'm just going to come straight down with the smiley face, and then I'm just going to come back a little bit, draw the neck, nice little thin neck, and I'm just going to do nice eye, and then this time I'm going to put an eyebrow in. This is going to be the top of her hair, and then we're going to have some squiggly hair out the back, like so. I'm going to put a bow in this one's hair, so it's basically a circle with some triangles, and then her hair is just going to come out the back like so. So that's the top of her head. Right, this time I'm just going to give her like a really top, so a bit of a square. I'm going to come down a bit more, and then we're going to give her this one again. We'll give her a dress, and this time we're going to have this one, her arm in the air, and this arm down by her side, and then I think what we'll do is we'll have this one stick a leg, you know, we just do really stick legs, and this time this is going to be her foot, and she's going to look like she's jumping through the air. So that one's like that, and then the other one that's going to come behind, okay, and to the side like so, and then that's going to just be like so. So there's my girl figure that is, or Matilda, that is sort of jumping through the air. Okay, so this is coming through, that's fine. Now, I might bring that dress down a little bit more. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to have a look at this bit here. This arm could do with being a little bit longer, maybe going into the next page, but we'll just leave it like that for a moment. Now, I'm going to come in now. Now I've done the drawing, the basic shape, I'm going to come in and start off with hair, and then this is just scribbly. Notice just that's the back, and then down to the neck. We're just going to come down the nose and in, and then smile, and then back, dot, and then there's her eyebrow, bit of squiggle. That's going to come down, a bit of squiggle along there, and then that's sleeve, and then arm, and it's going to come back, and then that's the other hand, and then along the bottom of the dress, and then let's put some lines in there. Yes. And then this leg, I think what we're going to do, I want to make it a bit more obvious that that's the back leg, and then that's her shoes. So I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so there we go. We've got 3 Matildas, one with her hair back and a ribbon, and then we're going to come in now, I'm going to rub out all the lines, and we're going to get on with some painting. So why don't you have a go at doing those 3, and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so what I've done now, I've mixed up some paint, I've mixed up some pink, I've mixed up some blue and some black, and a little bit of green, and I may need some other colours for the books, but at the moment I'm just going to do the main colours of Matilda here, which is, we're going to go in with the pink faces. So I like to go with the pink faces because they're off the faces first, because they're often the lightest part. So I'm just going to come in here. There's my faces. Down the leg, down that leg. Okay, and maybe a little bit into the hair as well. Now I'm going to come in and do this one. And then this one as well. Again, not worrying if I go over the lines. So there's that, and then down the leg, down the leg. Okay, so that's the face of Matilda. One little technique that you can do here is you can add, if you wanted to, a little bit of red. Now, what I'm going to do here is, this is called dropping in, which I'll show you in a different video, but I'm just taking a tiny bit of red, and I'm just going to drop that in to her cheeks. See how I'm just dropping it in while it's still wet. It's gonna blend in, so it looks like she's got these nice little red cheeks. You see that? And when it dries, it'll become more and more subtle. And I'm just going to do the same here, and I'm going to do the same here. Okay, and that's a great way of just showing that they're just blushing a little bit. But when it dries, it will hardly be noticeable. It's just adding a little bit of effect. Okay, now staying away from the black, because if I put the black in now into around the face, it's just going to all merge in together. It's going to be awful. So I'm going to be careful with the blue. Normally I'd let this dry a little bit longer, okay, because you don't want to get your blue anywhere near your face. So I'm just going to come in and just be careful, but I'm just going to do Matilda's dress in this case and just try to stay away from the pink, because if you get that in there, it's just going to go straight into that pink and turn it a horrible browny colour. So that's the first one. Let's come in with Matilda here and down the side here. Stay away from that pink. Okay. I'm actually going to just paint one of these books blue at the bottom. And then this Matilda here, she's coming down. The other things with the paintings of Matilda is that her shoes are blue too, okay, in the drawings that I've seen, and so I'm just going to give her some blue shoes, staying away from that pink. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with that. Now I could go over with another layer of blue, but I'm quite happy, and so I'm going to just let that dry for a bit, and then I'll come back and do the rest of the colours. Okay, that should be dry enough. What I've done while I've been away is just here, I've just painted this book a pinky purple colour and added some of that paint into the here. Not trying to be too careful here, but I just wanted to add a colour on what Matilda's sitting on. The last thing we want to do now is we want to do the hair, okay? And so it's really important that you do leave that to dry. One thing I thought I might do, I'm just going to do a little experiment here. I'm just going to take some bright red, and with a tiny amount, I'm just going to try something. I'm just going to try adding a touch just on this, just in her lips here, okay? Just to give it a suggestion that, you know, these nice lips. So that's that, and we'll see how that works out when it dries. Might be all right. Might have ruined it, but never mind. Right. So now we're going to come in with the black, and this is, at the moment, you can see this is where it doesn't quite look right, because the hair is white and there's some black lines, but this is where it starts to come alive, and I just want to make my black a little bit thicker, go a bit darker, so there, and I'm going to come up to there, and so, and then being careful not to get to the pink too much in there, and up the side of the face a little bit, and then across. So you need to be a bit more careful. Okay, and so I'm really happy with that one. And then I'm going to come do the same. I'm just going to come across the top of the head and straight down through the back there. Okay, and the last one along the top of the head, back through there, and then out the back of the head there. Okay, the one thing that I haven't done is I've not done the ribbons, so what I'm going to do there is I'm going to take some of that red that I made up, and this is why I really need to be careful, because if that goes into the black, it's gonna bleed. So I'm just going to touch it in there without trying to touch that black. And so there we have my 3 pictures of Matilda. You can see here that's really not worked very well. I'm going to just come, if I can see if I can fix that by just taking a bit of towel and just blotting that out, and notice that I've taken most of that colour out, and now it's fixed that a little bit. And you know, you can always, you know, if you mess up, you can always use a bit of blotting paper to take out the colour. Okay, now, so why don't you have a go yourself at having a go at drawing some Matilda figures?